You check your phone. Nothing new. No messages, no calls. Just the same glow of unread silence. You tell yourself you're fine. You've been alone before. But this time, it feels heavier, like the quiet is pressing down on you. That's loneliness. Not the absence of people, but the absence of connection. The invisible thread that makes you feel like you belong some. From a psychological view, loneliness is one of the brain's oldest alarms. Your mind was built for connection, for tribe, for touch, for shared moments. Thousands of years ago, being isolated meant danger. So even now, when you're perfectly safe in your room, your body treats loneliness like an emergency. Your heart races. Your chest feels hollow. Your thoughts spiral. Because your brain doesn't know the difference between being alone and being abandoned. We live in the most connected time in human history, but also the loneliest. You can scroll through hundreds of faces and still feel unseen. You can talk to people all day and still feel unheard. Because digital connection doesn't always mean emotional connection. The brain gets little bursts of dopamine from likes, messages, notifications, but they fade fast. And when they're gone, you're left emptier than before. It's not the silence that hurts. It's the illusion of closeness that breaks you. The reminder that you can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. Loneliness often makes you question your worth. You start thinking something must be wrong with you. You replay old conversations, wonder what you could have said differently, what part of you drove people away. But here's the truth. Loneliness isn't proof that you're broken. It's proof that you're human. Your need to belong isn't weakness, it's biology. The brain literally lights up in the same regions when you feel excluded as when you experience physical pain. That's why rejection burns the way it does. That's why silence feels sharp. We grow up believing that loneliness means failure, that if you're alone, you must be missing something everyone else has figured out. But what if loneliness isn't something to escape? What if it's something to listen to? Because loneliness has a strange way of showing you everything you've been running from. When the noise disappears, you start hearing your own thoughts again, the ones you've buried under conversation, work, distractions, and endless scrolling. It's uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is awareness, the start of coming back to yourself. Psychologists say loneliness can become chronic. When we start fearing it, the more we resist being alone, the more desperate we become for validation, even from places that hurt us. You stay in shallow conversations just to avoid silence. You reopen old wounds just to feel something familiar. You let people close, even when it costs your peace. Because sometimes pain feels safer than emptiness. But real connection, the kind that heals, only happens when you stop performing for love and start resting in truth. Solitude isn't the same as loneliness. Solitude is chosen. Loneliness happens when you forget that being with yourself is still being with someone. At first, solitude feels like withdrawal. You'll crave noise, company, distraction. But slowly, the stillness starts to change shape. It becomes a mirror, reflecting parts of you that have been waiting for your attention. You start to remember who you are, when you're not performing, not proving, not chasing. You begin to see that loneliness isn't a void, it's a signal, a message that your life is asking for something deeper than constant interaction. It's your soul asking for intimacy, not with others first, but with yourself, because before you can feel seen, you have to start looking. Before you can feel loved, you have to stop running from the quiet that wants to hold you. People often ask how to cure loneliness, but maybe that's the wrong question. Maybe loneliness isn't something to fix, but something to understand. It's the space between who you are and who you pretend to be. It's the silence asking you to be real again. The more honest you become, the smaller the distance feels. And soon, the silence that once scared you starts to feel like peace. You'll still have lonely nights. We all do. But they stop feeling like punishment and start feeling like invitation. An invitation to slow down, to reach inward instead of outward, to reconnect, not with the world's noise, but with your own presence. And once you can sit with that, once you can find calm in your own company, you stop chasing people who only make you feel emptier. You stop fearing the quiet. You stop running from yourself, because the psychology of loneliness isn't about distance. It's about disconnection from others, yes, but more deeply from the parts of yourself you've neglected. And the cure isn't found in noise, or crowds, or constant motion. It's found in the moment you realize you were never truly alone. You were just finally meeting yourself again.